Good evening. I'd call to order the March 21st meeting of the Hammond Capital Improvements Board. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner. You almost got a promotion.
Not sure about that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Will the clerk call the roll?
Flores,
Here.
Krasinski,
Here.
Prieto, Spitali, Tyler, Vanez,
Here.
Button.
Here. Let the record reflect 6 present and 1 absent. I did receive a message from Councilman Tyler who will not be available to attend tonight's meeting. Next item on the agenda is item 4, consideration of the past meeting minutes. You should have received in your packet a copy of the draft meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Councilman Spitali. Thank you, Commissioner Prieto. It's been moved and seconded to approve the past meeting minutes. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Flores,
Yes.
Krasinski,
Yes.
Prieto, Spitali,
Yes.
Tyler, Vanez,
Yes.
Button.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. 1 absent. Next item on the agenda, item 5, report on the work study session. Immediately prior to this meeting, this board met to go over the details of the items listed in today's agenda and some late additions to the meeting. Any other comments or clarifications to the work study session?
No, sir.
Thank you. Next item on agenda, item 6 is funding. No report for funding tonight.
No, not tonight.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, item 7, matters from mayor, council, and other departments. I see Councilman Torres is present. Councilman, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of Capital Improvement Board. Just got to get that right.
What's your address?
My address, 5925 Calumet Avenue. Okay, she received that letter. A lot of those requests, I've talked to Dean about it, but I have to formally put it in some form of record, so that's why I requested that. I do have a correction which the president mentioned, and that's to state line to Willow Road, not Waker Street, Willow Road Avenue. And of course, as a boundary between us and Calumet City, so our side needs a lot of work. Their side is fairly paved in a lot of areas. So I don't know if you want me to go one by one on them or.
It's up to you, sir.
Okay. But getting back to Hudson Street, yeah, there is pedestrian traffic on that street, and it's a short block. Well, especially during construction, of course, because of the construction, there was a lot of. So, and I take it will be. I know that that business on the corner of Holman and Hudson is done a lot of improvement to his business, and people do come from Sheffield to his business. So I guess that's where the traffic's generated from. But I know it's a long list, but I got to get on record and see if we can start the engineering, whatever. And I'm not sure what money that I can put in from our share of the district's gaming fund and what will come from this board, but let me know. This year so far, I haven't spent any money, and I should have over $1 million in there that we can spend. Another question I have, a list that I gave you last week is not on there, because through conversations, some of the ones that just required paving, we can do as councilmen by ourselves without coming to your board. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's always that option. If you want to, as long as it's a good candidate for resurfacing. I think you had some in sort of the Birch.
Yeah, Birch and Walnut and
Walnut area.
148 Court.
Some of those look like good candidates for resurfacing,
Well,
so we're taking a look at those.
yeah, they're just paving, not total construction. And the lighting, do we take care of that person to person?
That's a council.
Oh, that's
If it's
council.
not part of a larger project, if it's a standalone lighting project, that's a council.
Okay, so I'll just handle that with you with letter and meetings and so forth.
Yeah, we have your list. The items that you have on here, Hoffman and Hudson for resurfacing, we looked at those today in engineering, and the few that you had provided earlier, they all look like pretty good candidates. We're trying to balance all of the work that we have and hope to get a lot of these done, a lot of the resurfacings done for you.
Okay, I need to know which ones, like you mentioned, Michigan Street is total construction. So of course that requires a lot of money. Yeah, I need to know that so you can put that aside to work with the mayor and with your board to see how we can come up with that money, because we only get so much from the gaming fund.
So after this meeting with your list, I will, any project that hasn't already been looked at, like Summer Street, for example, we've already looked at that, it's already
Right.
been funded. Those like Michigan, well, Michigan we've looked at. I will score it using the scoring system that this board has developed, and I'll give you that list, so, and the board that list too. So you'll see where it stands among the other projects.
Okay, appreciate that.
You're
Thank
welcome,
you.
sir. Thank you for coming to the board, and I appreciate the list for sure.
Mr. President, in the process of scoring those projects for councilmen, are you just going to pretty much put in that he's going to be contributing into that, to each project, just to see where it lies scoring-wise, since he's willing to contribute some of his funds?
Yeah, so, yes.
Okay.
The answer is yes. The difficulty is to what extent, right? I mean,
Exactly.
there's a criteria that gives points for match, right? If you don't match or if you match significantly. We haven't really set parameters for those, so it's a little bit subjective, right? If the council person doesn't match at all, they get the lowest score. If the council person matches a fair amount, or if they match significant amount, they get points for that. But there's not it doesn't necessarily affect the overall score.
Got it.
Significantly. It sort of fine tunes it in.
Perfect, thank you.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I forgot. Can I get an idea of when some of these on this list are going to get started or completed? I mean, not today, I mean in a future date or?
Sure, I can give you that too. I will say that Goslin is an important project for me. We know that that's in design, but we don't expect that project to start this year due to all the other things that we have going on right now, all the other projects. But I would see that project looking to 2023 construction.
23, so
Yeah.
of course,
Be next year.
Next.
On Goslin, because it'll be ready. It's almost ready to go to bidding now. We just don't have a lot of money. That's like a $4.5 million project.
okay, the engineering is complete on that.
Just about, yeah. I haven't
Because
seen
we
the
paid a
finals.
good chunk of money for
You
that.
did, sir,
engineering,
and
yeah.
you would get credit for that sponsorship.
Okay. State line, is that just resurfacing?
It would be. Dave Ryan of the Lakeshore Chamber reached out to me. That is a shared road with Calumet City. And so I think there could be some benefit in talking to Calumet City about sharing the cost of doing that project. So that dialogue needs to open up.
Okay. You said Hoffman Street is doable because that's just resurfacing.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to doing Hoffman Street based upon what's happening within the city with bike lanes and development that's going on. That's a good candidate.
Okay, 150th Street, that seems to have a lot of dips in there.
You'll have to forgive me on that. I don't recall
Okay.
that one in particular.
Okay.
Michigan, we scoped out already with United Consulting. I'll be able to give you more detail on that. And Summer is in design right now. It should bid late this year.
Okay, and Summer Street, you already told me. Hudson Street, could that be doable this year?
Looks like a good candidate for this year. We're looking at something a little bit more robust than mill and resurface because the pavement's in pretty bad shape.
Okay. And if he can squeeze the sidewalk in there some kind of way.
On Hudson, we'll take a look at it, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone from the mayor, council, or other departments? Okay, next item on the agenda is old business. Is there any old business? Seeing none, new business is number 9, item A. Funding allocation, Hammond consultant support related to Nickty Westlake in the amount of $25,000. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Councilwoman Vines. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Flores. It's been moved and seconded to approve the funding allocation for $25,000 to receive professional services support relative to the Nickty Westlake project. Is there any discussion? I would just say that this is funding to set aside and engage an engineering firm, T.Y. Lin, to support the city, who T.Y. Lin has no ties to the project at this point. They are a railroad, they have a division that's experts in railroad projects as Nickty, and this would be very helpful to engineering and the administration. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Flores,
Yes.
Krasinski,
Yes.
Prieto. Spitali,
Yes.
Tyler, Vines,
Yes.
Button.
Yes, motion carries 6-0 with 1 absent. Next item on the agenda is 9B, funding allocation engineering services to perform the PASER rating inspection by Nice Engineering in the amount of $25,875. Is there a motion to approve?
Mr. President, I make that motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Krasinski, seconded by Councilman Spitali. Is there any discussion? So this is to do the pavement asset evaluation or pavement surface evaluation and rating system for all of our streets in the city of Hammond. With Nice Engineering, it's a requirement by NDOT to receive community crossings funding. It's done on a biennial basis. And is there any other discussion? Any other discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Flores,
Yes.
Krasinski,
Yes.
Prieto. Spitali,
Yes.
Tyler, Vines,
Yes.
Button.
Yes, motion carries 6-0 with 1 absent. Next item on the agenda is funding 9C, funding allocation, the 2022 Hammond Overlay Program in the amount of $1 million. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Councilman Spitali. Is
Second.
there- Seconded by Commissioner Krasinski. Is there any discussion? At the last meeting, this board discussed setting aside the initial funds for the project. Since that time, the city has opened and awarded a contract with Milestone North Contractors as the low responsive and responsible bidder for our annual pavement resurfacing contract. And so this $1 million will help fund a program that is desperately needed. Last year's funding was about $2 million. So we'll look for additional funding in the future. Hammond's historical spending on resurfacing is about $2.4 million, so we would be a little behind our target spending on this. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Flores,
Yes.
Kuzinski,
Yes.
Prieto. Spitali,
Yes.
Tyler, Vines,
Yes.
Button.
Yes, motion carries 6-0 with one absent. Next item is not on the agenda. We have 3 items that were late received today to the board. I would wish the board to consider. Item number 1 is funding allocation right-of-way acquisition for Michigan Street and Indianapolis Boulevard in the amount of $53,350. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you to Commissioner Krasinski and to Councilwoman Venez. Is there any discussion? This is a federal highway funded project for which the City of Hammond receives 80% federal highway funds for the construction and construction engineering. In exchange, the city committed to do the preliminary engineering and the right-of-way acquisition. This is for a new northbound Indianapolis Boulevard to eastbound right turn lane onto Michigan as a result of a traffic study that was completed about the time, well, by Lear Seating to identify a weakness in our traffic pattern at that intersection. We were awarded federal funds through NERC fairly uniquely because it's 2 state roads. In order to accommodate a right turn lane, we need to acquire property from Echo Services. We have done an appraisal, we have done a negotiation, and have come to agreement on the funds, which is a fair market value plus an additional cost to cure, which is a fence matter for the property. And so that amount is $53,350 payable to Echo Services. Is there any other discussion?
Was that 80/20?
This is 100% funded by the city. The 80/20 match is for construction and construction engineering. Any other discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Flores,
Yes.
Kuzinski,
Yes.
Prieto. Spitali,
Yes.
Tyler, Vines,
Yes.
Button.
Yes, motion carries 6-0 with one absent. Next item on the agenda is funding allocation, Michigan Indianapolis retaining wall design in the amount of $17,462.24 with First Group Engineering. Same project. In order to keep the cost of the property acquisition down, we need to fortify the side slope with a retaining wall. This is the cost of the engineering design for said retaining wall with First Group Engineering in the amount of $17,462.24. Did I call for a motion?
Not yet, no.
Sorry.
It's okay. But I'll,
Motion to approve the funding allocation.
second.
I'm sorry, I'm calling for a motion.
Oh.
Is there a motion? Thank you.
Sure. Second.
Motion, no, thank you.
Oh, you already did. That's okay.
Try to get this together. Motion's been made by Councilman Spitali, seconded by Commissioner Krasinski for the funding allocation. I have made a discussion. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Flores,
Yes.
Kuzinski,
Yes.
Prieto. Spitali,
Yes.
Tyler, Vines,
Yes.
Button.
Yes, motion carries 6-0 with one absent. Last item on the agenda is funding allocation for 52 169th drainage improvements, construction to Rex Construction in the amount of $59,750. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Flores. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Venez. For the drainage improvements to 5269th Street. Is there any discussion? In June of 2021, the City of Hammond solicited quotes from contractors for a new storm sewer improvements in the alley immediately west of Hammond behind the existing BP gas station. It's an area with poor soil conditions and really is unable to drain and causing local residents problems with standing water. We did receive those quotes last year, but it wasn't until late in the year when a determination was made to hire Rex. Rex has held their price in light of all of the changes in material receipts. They've continued to allow or to retain their price. They were found to be low, responsive, and responsible bidder of the 3 quotes that were received. Chair would entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make that
I'm sorry,
motion.
did I already
Yes,
call?
you
I
did
already
that.
called for the motion.
Yes. Wow. It's okay. With 6 of them.
So is there any other discussion? Keep me straight. Any other discussion? Roll call on the motion.
Flores,
Yes.
Kuzinski,
Yes.
Prieto. Spitali. Tyler, Venez,
Yes.
Button.
Button votes yes. Motion carries 6-0 with 1 absent. Is there any other new business? Hearing none, today is March 21st. The next regular meeting for this board would be held on April 4th. I don't believe that there is any possible conflict on April the 4th. Not sure if we'll have business on that time, so look forward to correspondence from myself and the clerk's office. Is there any other business?
4:30, Mr. President.
4:30, a regular, work study,
Study.
5 o'clock, 5 o'clock meeting. Any other discussion? Any other comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Spitali. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.